starts.
Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, I've got a match for you guys that has probably one of the most cursed things that you can possibly see in this game happen. So, we are in everyone's favorite Tier 9 premium American battleship that is in the Missouri, the Kearsarge. So, if you don't know what this abomination to naval engineering is, this is a hybrid battleship aircraft carrier. I mean, obviously, it's got a huge frickin' flight deck in the middle of it. And if you're wondering, this isn't some monstrosity Wargaming themselves came up with. No, this was actually designed by some American naval engineers in order to fulfill a request from the Soviet Union to have some form of hybrid battleship aircraft carrier thing. So, yeah, it's a paper ship, but it's a real paper ship, unlike some paper ships Wargaming just makes out of nowhere. So, what the Kearsarge has going for it besides, well, we'll get to the planes in a moment. She has 12 406mm guns. These are essentially 12 of North Carolina's 406mm 16-inch guns. So, the ship carries quite a punch, especially at Tier 9, and the guns are fairly accurate as well, as you are able to mount the special American dispersion module, which I do have mounted on this Kearsarge, or my Kearsarge. But, as you can see, she does have a 36-second reload time, but look at this dispersion. This is a really good dispersion for a Tier 9 battleship, and Kearsarge's salvos are more often than not like that one that you just saw there. I get a nice 16k chunk out of the linen right out of the gates. Now, as you can also see, I do now have the option to take off an aircraft. And take off an aircraft I do. So the Kearsarge has one squadron of rocket planes that carry Tiny Tims. Now, the Kearsarge has 5 of these F-8F Bearcats. They have 3 rockets apiece for a grand total of 15 rockets. And these are Tiny Tims, so they have great penetration and good fire starting potential and good fire starting, I just said that already, and good alpha damage. That's what I meant to say. So we're rolling up here on the linen. Now the linen does not have good AA. It really has, I believe it's actually like tier 5 levels of AA, but the linen is next to a Talon. And after machine gun firing delay, there we go with the rockets. Now, it is a linen, pretty thick flight deck, and it doesn't really have a lot of superstructure for my planes to chunk, so he gets off pretty easy there. It's pretty lucky that I didn't start a fire there too, but I did only hit 3 rockets. Now, the Kearsarge, on top of having 12 16-inch guns with a 36-second reload time, but really darn good accuracy, and rocket planes with Tiny Tim rockets, it's also actually, the physical ship itself isn't really that bad, except for the giant flight deck on it. Now, the flight deck is pretty well armored. Most calibers won't go through it because of that, but the side armor around the flight deck is just 16mm of armor, so that's easy. That's chunk city for anything. But the ship itself is actually pretty well protected with its armor scheme, and it's actually really fast. This ship can go 32 knots. Yeah, this monstrosity, this floating battleship airport can go 32 knots because it was, well, designed as a hybrid. It's not like the Issei that was converted over from a battleship to a hybrid, and you added all the weight of the flight deck and the aircraft facilities that slows the ship right down. Not so for the Kearsarge here. It's nice and quick. It is, of course, a bit of a whale trying to turn because it is a freaking huge and long ship, but other than that, she's pretty nippy. So, what's going on in the match right now? So, this is a match from last night's live stream. We were doing community divs where I was divvying up with you guys for the last hour of the stream. We're going to be doing more and more of those on the live streams on Friday nights now, so come check those out. The next one is this Friday night at 5 p.m. U.S. Central Time on the Twitch channel and on the YouTube channel as well. So, we are flanking around hard on the D flank. This Iowa just ate a torpedo, so what I'm doing right now is I'm flying around waiting for, you can see the lights on his ship are on, waiting for his damage con to run out, because evidently he ate a flooding or something. So I'm flying around waiting for that to run out, because the American battleships get that nice 20-second damage con. Now, we're going around the decap while most of the enemy team is pretty heavily focused at A. So if we can just clear this Iowa out the way, which we can easily do with the amount of ships we have over here, we'll throw him out of the way, and then we can go ahead and flank hard on their ships, which is obviously what you want to do in a ship with 12 16-inch guns. So the Iowa is still the Iowa. She has quite good AA, so I lose quite a few planes there. But the thing with the Kearsarge is that it doesn't matter how many planes you use, because in 2 minutes you are going to get a full flight of 5 more planes. Gearing pops up, doesn't maneuver. I get my full broadside off on him. Unfortunately, I didn't have HE loaded, but again, with the accuracy of these guns, I land 7 of the 12 guns, and the man loses pretty much half of his remaining health. Thankfully, the Petropavlovsk and then I think the Chungmu that gets him there. So thankfully, we got one of their DDs out, and now they're down to just one DD left, which is the Halrugamo, and we still have our 3 DDs fully intact. So we just need to get going now because there's only an Iowa, and obviously we can just roll over him really quickly. So we're going full speed out around this corner. Now, what you're seeing right here is a really good example of what these rocket planes are good for. In the situations where your battleship guns can't be used because there's an island in the way, the ship's too far away, you can still be doing good, consistent damage with the Kearsarge when you can't shoot stuff. And this is good damage because, again, these are tiny TEM rockets. They pack one heck of a punch. Now, unfortunately, with the Iowa, you can't really afford to spend the time that you need to in the run-up and get the reticle down all the way small with the rocket planes, but as you can see, it still hits quite hard. Again, that's only 5 of the rockets hitting a start of fire on the Iowa. Can follow that up with a salvo from the main battery guns. And with the rocket planes too, that 2-minute timer, and yoink the Iowa, that 2-minute timer starts the second you launch the planes. So that means if you spend 2 minutes flying the planes, when you come back to the Kearsarge, you have more planes waiting for you. That's a little nutty in my opinion, but I didn't design the ship, I'm just playing it. So right now, we're a little bit behind on kills. We're grabbing the D cap right now, but the enemy team is grabbing the C cap too. And as you can see, most of our team actually all of our team at B is dead. It's really just the ships on the eastern flank left alive, so we've got work to do. Broadside landing at 20 kilometers. This is a weakness of the Kearsarge. Her muzzle velocity is so incredibly slow, just like the North Carolina. Now, thankfully, I did lead him enough to where the shells landed vertically fine. I'm sorry, horizontally fine, but vertically they're a little bit too far behind. Any shots you take out past 15 kilometers, you're going to have to give those ships just giant leads. And they're going to have plenty of time to react to you. And see, that's what I'm doing here. I'm watching this tunnel. I'm trying to think, is he going to speed up? Is he going to slow down? So I thought, okay, maybe he's going to speed up a little bit. So I gave him a bit of a lead, but lo and behold, he slows down. But thankfully, I still get a pretty decent chunk on him. 11k, and I knocked out one of his turrets. The muzzle velocity of the Kearsarge's guns is, I believe, 701 meters a second or 702 meters a second. Which is, that's beyond slow. The North Carolina, which has these same guns at Tier 8, that's a terrible muzzle velocity for a Tier 8 battleship to have. So at Tier 9, it's even worse. In a lot of games you play at Tier 9, you're going to have to shoot at ships past 15 kilometers. That's just the nature of high-tier gameplay. So the Kearsarge is really best played from medium range, actually, about what you see right here. That way you don't have a long flight time on your shells. The enemy team doesn't have forever to respond to your shells, to move out their way, to change their speed, or to change their course. So, yeah, you do want to pay this ship with a giant flight deck welded to it, actually at medium range. So right now, we've managed to break out from the 910 line. Now we're up north. The Lenin, he was going to go down south, but now he's forced to turn around because we got, well, what's left of our team right in front of him. I launched the rocket planes. Aim for his superstructure this time. The reticle in the replays is a little bit further back than where it is when I was playing. And I get 3 fires on him and 8k. Now at this moment, I actually made a mistake. I wasn't paying attention to the map. I didn't realize that Kansas was creeping up the 3-4 line. I actually made a mistake. I make plenty of mistakes. One of the mistakes I made in this match is me not paying attention to where the Kansas is at. Right now, I got tunnel vision on this Lenin. I have strong tunnel vision on this lane. I'm thinking, okay, let's go ahead and murder this guy real quick. I'm angled into him, angled into the Hizen in the background, but I'm not looking at the map. I'm not seeing that the Kansas, now I just noticed him, is right there. That's something that you guys should definitely do. Always be checking the mini-map, be looking around you, have good situational awareness, because now, if that Kansas starts looking at me, I'm in a bit of a tough spot. We're down to just one cap. The enemy team's got 3 caps now. We're, I believe, about even on ships. And now I am in the middle of a crossfire between the Hizen, the Talon, and the Kansas. And I'm also the Kaga's special plaything at the moment. So I'm in a bad situation right now that was completely avoidable. If I had seen the Kansas, I could have just continued to go up north or turn around, focused on one or the other. But now I'm suddenly the thing everyone wants to kill. Everyone hates the ship anyways, the Kearsarge. It's a CV, essentially. Essentially our team's second CV that the enemy team doesn't have. So of course everyone wants you dead. So now I have to decide what I want to do. Thankfully I do have the Shimakaze, the Georgia, and the FDG with me. So the Kansas has other things to shoot at. So he does take a couple of pot shots at me, but he has other things he needs to worry about. I believe the Georgia and the FDG were trying to keep him busy, the 2 guys I was playing with, while I was trying to not die. Ooh, really close there. Kaga got 4 torpedoes out on me. Now, see, the thing is, I couldn't turn. I can't turn because I would give the Hizen broadside, and he has 12 6-inch guns too. That's the last thing you want to give broadside to, except for like a Yami or a Shiki or a Slava. And I'm really exposed to the Kansas out east. Now, thankfully, going in reverse threw him off, and the shells that would have hit my superstructure landed short and wound up just hitting my bow and turrets. So I got off easy there. Now I gotta try and half angle to the Hizen, half angle to the Kansas, and now I gotta try and get the Hizen out because my turret's already facing that way, and now he's closer and he's got plenty of guns that could murder me. Thankfully, Kaga flies straight through my flag and the flag of Exodog's Georgia right there, so thankfully he only got 1 plane through. And the torpedo is going to miss, because now I'm going forward. Who knew throttle juking could work in this monstrosity? So now I'm trying to deal with the Hizen, aiming for his superstructure. Managed to get a whole 1,000 damage out of that overpin. And the Georgia, Exodog, is also firing at the Hizen too, I believe, along with the FDG. Yeah, there's the FDG secondaries. So we're focusing this guy down. And this is what you want to do when you're playing with guys in the division. You want to pick a target, focus it down, murder it, pick up the kill for your team, and keep going. Now we're back, I believe, even with kills with the enemy team. Kaga's coming back around with his dive bombers, and I am turning hard to avoid these things because I'm down to 10,000 health. I do have 3 heals left. And here they come, and whew, thankfully only 2 on the flight deck. And now I'm keeping my guns quiet until I can pop my heal off. So what I was planning on doing here was going back down to C, grabbing C, then selling down to B. But the Kansas, I take a look at him, and he's focused on the FDG. His guns aren't even pointing this way. And I just got my heal off too, so I'm like, alright, I got time to shoot. So I let the guns go on the Kansas. Here comes a Kaga again. Now I'm watching the Kaga's planes because if he does drop another salvo on me, I want to have my stern or my bow pointed toward him. Obviously, in this case, having my stern pointed toward him would be the best thing because, you know, smaller profile for the torpedoes to hit, a lot easier to dodge when you already have the slim part of your ship pointed toward the torpedo planes. But he's going after Shimakaze. Shimakaze's a DD, very maneuverable, so thankfully he's not coming after me. And the Shimakaze is in the cap as well. So now I set my autopilot here to go ahead and go into the A cap because I'm going to go ahead and launch my fighters and go hit the Kansas and then follow up with my guns after that. Now, Kansas is obviously quite a juicy target for the rocket planes. Lots of superstructure, lots of plating that these Tiny Tim rockets can easily rip through. So I'm trying to line up a shot on the side here because if you notice the shape of the elliptical, it is of course more of an oval, so coming in from the side would be ideal. But unfortunately, I wander into his AA, and with these planes with no heal or anything, you want to go ahead and just let them go rather than trying to fly back into the AA because you just wind up losing more planes. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Confederate with Halsey. So, if you notice there, Halsey's Confederate skill gives you a boost to your reload time and also a boost to your plane prep time. So now I have a 25-second on these 12 16-inch guns. Okay, that's what you expect it to do. However, also on the planes, they have a 2-minute base reload time. That's it. They're like a consumable. But apparently with Halsey's skill, when that pops, it goes down to 90 seconds. So here I was testing my my gun, see what the reload time was. It's 25 seconds. Unfortunately, there's this weird glitch sometimes when you launch the planes from the hybrids. The info bar at the bottom goes away. Okay, it didn't pop up here. So when I launched these planes, it was like 1:32 seconds on the prep time for them again. Oh, so now I can get even more planes out with even more rockets out. Unfortunately, it's fairly late in the game, but I did not know this was a thing. I figured that since these are treated like a consumable in every way, shape, and form, essentially, at least, again, they're not a consumable, they're technically an armament, so I guess, yeah, I should have expected this to happen. But man, this makes Kearsarge a lot more interesting than I first thought. Also think about this too. What else has this type of aircraft? That's right. The new supercarrier of the United States. They also have a 2-minute cooldown time or load time on their jet aircraft. So that means if this works like it does for the Kearsarge, you can get a 1:30 cooldown time on your jet aircraft, which I've tried out on the PT server, and they're quite something, all right. They're quite powerful. So yeah, think about that. How easy would it be for jet aircraft to, for a supercarrier to get Confederate with Halsey, and then have a 1:30 reload time on their jet aircraft? Pretty darn easy given the nature of super ships. So that is some food for thought. I wonder if it'll pop up here when I go. Yep, 1:36. Good God, this is cursed. This is incredibly cursed. I don't know why I thought it wouldn't work for Halsey on Kearsarge, because it's coded as a battleship in game, but when you use the aircraft, it's then coded as a CV. It's some really, really, really true spaghetti coding with the Kearsarge. But yeah, this is kind of stupid, kind of silly. And here I just set All-Pot to go into the cap with the Shimakaze to give that guy as much A support as I possibly can. Now, if you noticed last time on the Kaga too, I got 12 of the 15 rockets to hit on the Kaga, and we like drained the man's health. Again, the Tiny Tims are great. There's Strike Team 2. I believe Exodog got that in his Georgia. And there again, another 10k with 12 more rocket hits on the Kaga, and we burn him out, securing 3 kills in the Kearsarge with popping Halsey's Confederate skill. Was it Strike Hard, Strike Fast, I believe is the one he gets for that. So yeah, quite a game, and everyone's favorite monstrosity, the Kearsarge. This is the last game we had on stream last night, and a fantastic way to end a Friday night live stream with a game like this. Truly a fantastic game, and man, what a silly mechanic to have on the Kearsarge. 175,000 damage done, 17,000 XP. I wasn't running all these special signal flags either on the Kearsarge. It probably would have been a freaking 50,000 XP game between free XP and ship XP if I was. But anyway, guys, thought you guys would enjoy seeing that here on the channel. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. One way to 35,000 subs. We're about to hit 33,000. I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.